In Manchester by the Sea, the Ridge House makes a statement on Massachusetts' North Shore.
One of the things that people say is, we knew you were eccentric, and now we've confirmed that you were certifiably crazy.
Crazy for ocean views, perhaps, seen from nearly every room in this 5,200 square foot house. Owner Hamilton Mailman has been living here since 2004.
This land was owned by my mother, and I was fortunate enough to be able to buy it in 2000. And we actually didn't have any idea that there was such a fantastic view from this site because it was heavily wooded.
Mailman and architect Marcus Gleistein designed Ridge House with contemporary art in mind. There are echoes of the Sydney Opera House and the work of Frank Lloyd Wright, says Mailman. Sculptural lines are everywhere, says Hamilton's wife, Pam.
So if you start here and you walk, each of these panels is slightly smaller. And you continue around, it's smaller.
Wait a minute.
It's a chambered nautilus.
Oh!
How cool is that? And then you end up in here. Isn't it magical?
Like
Yeah.
what just happened? That was like a Harry Potter book.
Exactly.
In the great room, granite boulders surround the fireplace. Nothing about this steel and glass property is traditional, not even the garage, which may look familiar. The New Hampshire-based company that built the Denver International Airport made this mini version for Mailman.
Behind us are thousands of acres of hiking and mountain biking trails. There's very, very little lawn. It's all very much native plants, so there's very little use of water.
And there are those sea breezes.
The house was designed to draw that cool air in, so we very seldom have to use air conditioning in the summer unless it's very humid out.
But now the Mailmans are downsizing. Ridge House is on the market for a cool $9 million, listed with Lance Robb of Landvest. Robb has shown Chronicle grand and unusual houses in the past. This one stands out, he says.
This is completely private. In about half a mile's walk, you have two beaches, white and black beach. You can picnic and walk in the sightline of this house.
Well, the most rewarding thing for me is it stimulates conversation. Certainly, this is not everybody's cup of tea, but they're fascinated by the story that this house presents.
This modern house on an old apple orchard is an inspiration to design buffs.
It is most certainly the house of our historic sites that is most visited by architecture and design people.
Peter Gittleman is in charge of visitor experience at the nonprofit Historic New England, which owns the Gropius House turned museum.
The Gropius House was built in 1938 by Walter Gropius, who was the founder of the Bauhaus School in Germany, a school that brought together fine arts and applied arts under one roof.
The Bauhaus School created one of the most influential modernist movements in history.
And the idea is that this is a philosophy, it's not a style. Gropius was absolutely anti-style. He felt that as soon as something got codified into a style, it was doomed because it was going to fall out of style.
Gropius built this house for his wife and daughter after moving to Massachusetts to teach at Harvard. He lived here for more than 30 years until his death in 1969.
The house is shaped like a shoebox, which is, as Gropius had always said, is the most efficient type of shape for constructing a modern house. All the large picture windows of this house are looking out toward privacy, looking out toward nature.
This three-bedroom, 2,300 square foot house is famous for its smart design and decor.
Much of the furniture that you see in this house is furniture that was built in 1925, 1926.
The primary bedroom has a glass dividing wall, which helps trap heat. Closets are hidden, and mirrors make rooms feel larger.
So when the door to the bathroom is closed, you can see that actually the line of the window is completely uninterrupted. He was an early proponent of sustainability, but mostly for practical reasons. He had lived through World War I and knew what it was like to be cold and hungry. So he wanted to take advantage of the passive solar gain that this wonderful New England sun gives you. He wanted to make sure that he had a way of heating the house with the fireplace if he lost power.
At the time, locals were disdainful, calling the Gropius House a chicken coop that wouldn't last.
The house is still incredibly modern. Everything in this house feels so familiar that visitors want to come in and sit on the furniture, which is a challenge that we have, but it means also that the design is a success because people want to come in and make themselves at home.
Gropius's wife lived in the house until the 1980s and then gave the house to Historic New England. Peter Gittleman tells us that the Gropius House has been very influential in Lincoln and helped contribute to the town's reputation as a community accepting of modern architecture. Still ahead, taking risks with decor.